Don't go down. Okay, we're good. Champions, welcome. The squares have aligned and bingo is nigh. It's time for Elden Squares Season 3. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, we have a team of speed demons from France. Champions of any percent glitchless, rando masterminds. They kill any boss, any place, any time, any day, and do it deathless. Their primary DLC player is a man who was the #1 overall seed in the Deathless Randomizer League. He is an absolute master of the DLC and looking to put his talents on display here today. It is none other than Typin and his teammate, a man who was the #4 overall seed in Deathless Randomizer League, made it to the semi-finals, knocking off big names like Lil Aggie and Gustav Gabriel. It is none other than Iron Yao. And now for their opponents. Fighting out of the blue corner, we have a team of upstart rookies who are now making waves in the open division of the Golden Order. Their primary DLC player is a man who's known for his absurd plays, his ridiculous gameplay. You will be in a position where you say, he can't do that, that's absurd, and he says, that's my name. It is none other than Yibe, the absurdist, and his teammate, someone who has gotten here from hard work, grit, determination. He never gives up. He always keeps going. He looks for skips. He creates new ways of getting better. Is he man or is he machine? I don't know, but I do know he is powered by Thomas the Tank Engine. Now let's get ready to run that board and square off. All right, you ready to go, Wander?
Ready to go. Let's freaking do it.
Let's do this thing, baby. And here we go. Center square prediction.
I'm going to go Degenerate or seeing Magma Worm and Theo.
Melania until it appears.
A little bone.
You all know the deal. Return Lieutenant to the Apostate Derelict. So I'll explain that square really quickly if anyone does not know it. You need to get 1/2 of the Lieutenant item and then go ahead and go to the Consecrated Snowfield and return her Spirit Ash there. So you need Haligtree half plus Lieutenant Spirit Ash, then go to Consecrated. So that's one of the few quest squares in this format, but who cares about quest squares? We like big bosses, right? And we have none other than 18 inches of Mesmer. But don't get too excited too early. You're gonna have to wait a little bit, but we will see Mesmer on the board. We also have that Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo in the top right. Maybe you could do a little bit of Hippo action into Mesmer. We have that Magma Worm and Theodorix. It was not on the center square, Wander, but there it is still on the board. We have the Dragon Lord, the true first Elden Lord, Placidusax, everyone's favorite base game bingo baddie, the Blackblade Kindred, and that big scary sunflower, the Scatatree Avatar. Looks like we're gonna have a fantastic game here today. Wander, you're much smarter than me. Let's get a technical analysis from you.
Well, obviously, Return Lieutenant being a rush square and being middle of the board, it's going to be quite a tempting rush square to go for. But one thing that I'm kind of looking at in this is we don't have the most synergy up in Mountaintops this time around, which is pretty interesting. Usually I feel like Mountaintops is super strong, but we got Estelle, Okina, Lieutenant, and Magma Worm Theo. While they're all in Mountaintops, none of them Estelle isn't obviously technically only a mountaintop square. None of them really play into each other that hard, but it is worth saying Latenna, Okina, Magma Worm all on the same line. You got something to worry about here. But I'm honestly going to predict that Thomas goes for Magma Worm Theo anyway. He loves that square, and honestly, the base game player's goal is get juiced, go kill stuff. And you can't get juiced faster than that square.
Yeah, it's a very big square because, like, especially for for both players, but I feel like especially the base game player, that first high value kill, meaning gives a lot of runes, is so important, right? With the DLC rush, because you need to get to the DLC, you have to kill 2 different remembrance bosses. So if you do Godric, Renala, etc., right, you can get at the very least a little bit of juice. Also, you could also get like the Marika's rune for 80k, right? There are ways to have that survivability in the DLC without having to do the most ridiculous thing first. Granted, you still do want that big kill, right, to actually get 50 vig like you probably should have in the DLC. But for the base game player, it's like, you did Magma Worm Theo yesterday at like 10 vig or whatever, right? And then you get that one kill and you go from 10 to 40, and all of a sudden you go from I can't take a single shot to I can take 2.
Exactly.
And that's a big deal. Also, I do want to say to the chat, I know I made the Gamba a little bit too long. Make sure to Gamba, you got about a minute, and then I will close it once the actual match starts. So get your Gamba in, get your corn in. First game of the day. Are you rooting for Team France or are you rooting for the upstart rookies? Make sure to show with your corn bet. But yeah, I expect a fantastic game here today.
Same here.
Two very talented teams, and a lot on the line. And of course, the speedrunners, they get Death's Poker, right?
Every time.
It's always either DP or Bloodhound's Fang, right? Hey,
yeah,
you got to deal with it.
You got to deal with it. It's the way of the game, right? You got to know how to compete and accept that, okay, I'm competing against speedrunners with a speedrunner weapon. How are we going to make this work? How are we going to play around this? One thing that's really interesting about this board to me, though, is there are 1, 2, 3 DLC plus Altus squares on this board between Oathseeker, Blade of Mercy, and the two-handed squares. And it makes me wonder, there's not necessarily a reason to get into the DLC through Altus as far as like a square being underground or anything crazy like that. But I wonder if you see those 3 on the board, and if you go something like Godric Radon or Renala Radon, simply for the fact that you want access to those later, and there isn't the most rushable squares on planet Earth in this DLC.
I got Blade of Mercy. Yo, chick, she's so thirsty. I'm in that 2-seat Lambo with your girl. Oh, okay. We're back in a bingo game here. But yeah, there are a lot of those combination squares on the board here. So it will be important that you get both Altus access and DLC access at some point in the game. Typically look for that around the 45-minute to hour mark. Because normally, on most boards, the kind of standard setup is one player goes Altus, the other player goes DLC, right? But then the first person to get both will be able to claim the Oathseeker Black Knife set, Dagger Blade of Mercy. Granted, that one does require a Volcano Manor, and two-handed sword, Dragon Crush, Great Shield, right? Very valuable.
Very valuable stuff there. Yeah, and it looks like we see both Thomas and Iron rushing through Makar. That doesn't necessarily tell us that they're going for Magma Worm Theo, though, because Latenna is really fast through, just in general, Altus is super fast through Makar. We've seen the tons of players favoring this play over the Dectus play, over the Virgin's play, because it gives you money, and it's pretty comparable to Dectus. And there's Tunnel Precipice dungeons, so it feels kind of like you're throwing away some synergy by not going in through Makar. So we'll see kind of where that goes. Meanwhile, it looks like Typin and Yibe are just setting up their weapons. Not sure exactly what they're going to be going for as far as their DLC entry. The only thing I could really see them rushing once they get in there is Chief Blood Fiend, which would be kind of odd.
Yeah, I mean, Chief Bloodfiend works. It also, Moonrathil could be an option, right? Depending on how comfortable you are with that. I mean, if we saw, if Ellie or Nike's really contesting Ellie for, the Nike, the playable character, the NPC. He literally yesterday he did Red Bear NPC for Red Bear and Rao base. Never seen it before. And did it really well.
First time.
Yeah, never before seen. But if you are good with those NPCs, right? Like Moonrathil is a serious option, right? Because it's not a very long square whatsoever. He's just a bastard, right?
Yeah.
You can't wild strike. A lot of NPCs like ADM can get cheesed with wild strikes, but he has very heavy armor and high poise, and he will just say, "You have wild strikes. I am big, strong woman." Apparently, I learned yesterday. With big sword, and you go die.
Yeah. I'd still be surprised though. It blocks two kind of annoying, like bingo threats. I like both column 3 and row 5. They aren't the most threatening things in the world, but there's some things on there you don't want to be forced into. But other than that, if you do Moonrathil, you kind of go down there, you fight this really annoying fight, you risk dying. You don't really get a whole lot for it, so I'd be surprised.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you could also like just set up might just be the way here. The other option too would be I think you could seriously consider a Volcano Manor rather than the patent pending Godric Renala, right? You could go with Renala into Rykard, because you have Tanis Crucible Knight, which is the Crucible Knight invader that invades you after you kill Rykard, and Dagger Blade of Mercy on the board. And we do actually already see one team going away from that patent pending rush, as Typin is looking at friendly NPCs here.
Yeah, which I think is a pretty strong way to take advantage of the fact that you don't have to be in DLC right away. So you might as well clean up one of these early squares, especially before NPCs start moving up into Altus, because you go up there and it kind of screws with everything. So I think that's a fairly smart play for Typin to do that right now. Meanwhile, Yibe, I mean, he could just be going for the rush, but I'm gonna guess Yibe is gonna be going for Volcano Manor here with how much synergy is up there.
Yeah, it does just it feels like it's very valuable, putting you in position to get 2 squares. Also, Rykard gives you, like, that's, we talked earlier in the game about like that first big kill, right? Rykard counts because he, gives a massive amount of money, right? And puts you in good position. Also, if you grab the Godskin Noble Grace, you're in a good spot to potentially go to Virgins if you need to get Altus access and help out there. I think it makes a lot of sense, but we'll see what the guys decide to do today.
Yeah, I'd be so surprised to see anyone doing the Godric Renala rush. In my opinion, if you're going to do a DLC rush square as your first square on this board, even though it's not like in the strongest position, Blade of Mercy Dagger Talisman is the one I go for here, because oh my gosh, I did that once when I was just practicing and I happened to do DLC because my partner wasn't the one I was playing with. I just melted everything after that. Those two buffs are so absurd with each other. After I got that as my first square, I was just killing things in no time flat.
And so the other thing too is that's very anti-meta, right? Like, we don't see that very often. Very like an anti-meta play, something that I don't think the teams would be expecting. But we got 3 fights on the board here, so let's go ahead and just send it to the quad screen right away. Actually, 4 fights. Hello there, Mr. Alexander. Got to give you respect.
But give him his credit.
Makar on the bottom of your screen as both of Iron and Thomas race for Altus access, and then Yibe going for the Red Wolf of Radagon here.
Yeah, it looks like DP doing DP things on Makar here. It looks like they both got a bunch of blue, right? Which is smart for this weapon. You're not really going to survive more than a hit to either of these upcoming bosses. In fact, on the second boss, you're not going to survive a hit at all. So it makes sense to just pump into blue and just really L2 R1 the crap out of these guys.
And dude,
oh my gosh,
Iron's
Iron with a
Makar was
ridiculously fast.
ridiculous. Like that, I mean, I know DP is. It looks like, as I also have a Margit here, so we'll go to the back to the dual screen again. But you know, DP does feel like Harry Potter's wand sometime. But my God, he just, you know, he went Avada Kedavra, and Makar was dead there.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And like Thomas wasn't that far behind, but like they're saying in chat here, it's showing the difference between their effectiveness in using this weapon. Iron's someone with. Iron's a speedrunner. Like we talked about early in this game, you're just going to have to deal with the fact that if you give Iron a Death's Poker, he's going to go really fast.
Yeah, the Necro
yeah, Iron getting into Altus at 8 minutes through Makar in 30 seconds is one of the most ridiculous times ever.
What is Death's Poker in French? We need to start calling it that now.
That's a great question. Someone chat, look this up for us.
Do we have any French fans supporting Bagarre FR here? Any French speakers? I don't think it's Necro Poker as I suggested.
Yeah, and it looks like Thomas just didn't get extra blues, and that's really what cost him the time.
Yeah, that would do it, right?
That's all it takes. Yibe going through Stormveil. I'm not really sure what Yibe's rush is through Stormveil, honestly. Like, you got Chief Bloodfiend, Wolf Lion, Bear, Hippo as kind of stronger fast squares in here, but we'll see what his plan is. He must value something about the DLC rush.
Yeah. And I will say though, I like Stormveil here for Typin because he's getting synergy out of it, right? By doing Stormveil, you get access to Gostok and Nefeli Lu, two friendly NPCs, so he can go kill those two on his way. And very, very smart.
Yeah, very, very smart. Actually using this as like sort of a synergy efficiency play rather than just doing it because it's the rush.
Le Poker de la Mort. Ooh, I like that. But
that sounds really sick.
But can it mort Magma Worm Theodorix? Let's see how Iron can do here today. Wander, you know, he did this yesterday. He'll be, you know, we've classes been in session today with Professor Rambler. I'm sure that Wander will be grading this fight very astutely as Iron looks for top marks here. He has to do this fight hitless. Maybe he can get ticked by the soup one time, but needs to be very, very close. Very, very careful.
This is a risky L2R1. You can kind of get, after that move, he likes to do the move where he like crawls backward and then slams down with the sword. And what's dangerous about that move is not the hitbox, not the actual damage of the move. It's the fact that he drags you back into the soup and then you just get murdered by him just pulling you back into the soup.
Also, I have received news that it is actually called Augli. I'm so American. I'm sorry. I can't say that. We're going with
I can't say that either. I'm not cultured enough. I'm sorry.
Look, I took French. I took French for 2 years in middle school. I try my best, but it's really bad.
Yeah, honestly, Iron on pace to have one of the most insane Makar Theo times we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't wanna jinx it or anything like that, but just wanted to point out that this pace is nutty right now.
Dude, and he's taking, you know, this is Thomas's baby, Magma Worm Theodorix, right? Actually, there was a big controversy here before the season started, because Thomas found a way to use the octopi to kill Theo for you. After testing, the octopi just added too much RNG to the fight, not only because you could use them and sometimes they would just kill him for you, but also because they would just jump into the fight and be bastards, right? So in the mod, the octopi are actually removed for competitive balance sake. But yeah, that was Thomas's square in early on, and that is the fastest mark I've ever seen.
Oh my lord, yeah. And we're talking a sub 13
Is he
minute.
gonna mark it? There it is, yeah.
Is he gonna mark the square?
Yeah.
A sub 13 minute by a lot, which is absurd. So
Yeah.
yeah, Iron showing that maybe, just maybe, knows how to use Death Poker a little bit.
Maybe. Dude, if I was that good with my wooden stick, I probably wouldn't be single.
Yeah, maybe Iron can give you a few points.
Yeah, maybe, dude.
12:27.
Yeah, that was 12:27, and he could have marked it faster because he warped
Yeah.
immediately, and then probably couldn't tab out because he was in a loading screen. So slightly late, it's no big deal, right? But literally could have been faster.
Yeah, this is not looking great. And Ellie's pointing out a good point. Pivoting, like conceding like this and pivoting is not really a great sign for your mental more than anything else.
Yeah.
If you're just immediately going kind of like, I might lose this. You can't, like, I get they're scary. They're really good speedrunners and players, but you can't just like concede. I think.
The other thing
especially
too
not on this
here,
board.
I know we have Ronaldo there, but I want to put attention to the two base game players here. Because the other thing too is I think Thomas was like, all right, if he goes Magmorn Theo, I'll get Dragonheart bosses because Theo takes forever. But Iron's Theo was so fast that he's ahead.
Yep, just straight up
Iron
ahead.
killed Theo before Thomas could kill the Kaled Magmorn. That is
Absurd.
obscene.
Absolutely absurd.
And it's not like Thomas is slow, by the way, right? Like Thomas is a free amazing player, right? Everyone in this league, this is, you know, the top division, Elden Squares, everything we do is merit based, right? Like these guys are here because they can play. You know, we heard you were talking about, could he do the ever elusive sub 15, right? He does Theo 2.5 minutes faster, never before seen speed.
Yeah, just literally putting the rest of us to shame.
And we do have Yibe here looking to help out his teammate with doing some damage in the DLC. He's going for Renala. I gotta say, early on though, obviously still a lot of bingo left to play today, but I thought Iron and Typin looked impressive last week. I thought they did. This is, if they keep getting better every week,
this is gonna be like, yeah, this might be GG's. I don't really know how we keep up if this level of improvement too, like, keeps going from this moment. We're all in trouble, boys. We might have some work to do. Yeah, and the crazy part is Typin got that extra synergy square out of this and is not that far behind on DLC. And on a board like this, where there's not a whole lot of rush, there's not that opportunity where you're just gonna get into DLC slightly behind and then just lose all of the DLC because of it. Typin's going to more or less be coming out ahead, assuming no incidents happen.
Yeah, and Iron here is gonna snipe Thomas on Dragonheart bosses. You know, Thomas there went down. It ultimately doesn't matter, but you know, you saw the look of frustration on his face. I think he's, I mean, I would feel like
hurt even worse.
You know, they say in fighting or whatever, it's not a fight until you get punched in the mouth, right? You know, but Expedition 25 has gotten hit really hard here early. They could not have been expecting this type of a start from Bagarre FR.
No one would.
You know, still a lot of bingo left to play, still a lot of ground to make up, but there's still a lot of time to make up. We've seen, you know, 3-0 is, I've seen a lot of people win a lot of games starting down 3-0, but really strong for Bagarre.
Yeah, it's really gonna depend on how much of this late game goes around. Luckily for these players, they haven't lost a whole ton of progress due to these snipes, is the lucky part. Dragonheart bosses was probably the most painful as far as losing progress towards other squares goes. But, you know, you've got the same Altus access that Iron does. Yibe is ahead on the DLC by a pretty decent amount. It's really, like, not in a position where the game's thrown away or anywhere near it. You've got other advantages, even though they took some of this early game stuff and did it really, really well. Yeah,
100%. Because the other thing too, I do know, like, bingo players are, especially at the top level, they're very critical of themselves, right? That's how you get to the top. That's how kind of a blessing and a curse, right? Where, you know, sometimes it sucks to be so hard on, I think people are just way too hard on themselves, right? But on the other hand, you know, that's why you're so good, right? Because you make, even in games where people win and I go, you played the best game ever, they're like, oh, I fucked this up. Right. And then they get better and better and better. We do see the first mark on the board for tunnels there. But in this situation, it's, you know, obviously rough start there for Thomas, right? But now you got a square on the board. Base game score is 2-1 between Iron and Thomas, right? That's kind of their matchup, right? Their man that they're guarding. You know, can you just put the start behind you and continue to play? I have full faith in Thomas, though. He is the tank engine. He's machine, not man, fueled by coal and raw speed charging down the tracks.
Yeah, Thomas definitely can keep this going. He's not one to just stop and give up or anything like that, even when he's frustrated. But this might be painful. Thomas about to run into yet another snipe here.
Yeah. I mean, unless there would be this would be a unprecedented death from a player of Iron's caliber with this amount of vigor, but we'll see if Loretta can make miracles happen for Expedition 25.
Loretta could be Thomas's biggest soldier. Wouldn't expect it, but it's not impossible. Oh, Iron with the beautiful duck dodges, obviously knows this fight incredibly well. And honestly, if I'm Thomas here, I'm expecting Latenna as well. This is a snipe I run into every time.
Yeah, I mean, I do think we were talking a little bit about like the analytical bingo, right? Like looking at like positions of weakness in the game, how you can exploit it to your advantage, right? I do think going for stuff like isolated kill squares, like it's always strong in bingo, right? Because instead of being like, yo, do 3 tunnels, it just kill the one thing, right? And Loretta being so fast there, so 4-1 lead for Team France, like, and I think that is kind of a weakness. I know that some of the players have been talking about that. Shura has pointed out that you are most likely, you know, board aside, right? Considering just a normal board, teams are most likely to bingo on column 2, column 4, row 2, and row 4. My presumption, my presumption with that is that it's because of a blind spot, right? Obviously the center square is super valuable, so people always think about the center square and bingo's coming off of center, right? And then also the next most valuable squares are any squares on those diagonal. The reason why is because the diagonal squares, not including center, block 3 bingos instead of 2. But I have noticed in just how people talk, right, rather than referring to diagonal squares, a lot of people say corner squares. So my presumption would be that row 2, row 4, column 2, and column 4 are so popular because people maybe even subliminally undervalue the mid-diagonal squares, like on this board, Estelle, Boss, Mesmer, Plassey, and Chief Bloodfiend, compared to the actual corner squares, even though objectively they are, regardless of what the actual squares are, they are of the same value on a naked board.
100%. Yeah, I'd be interested to see, maybe Professor Rambler can put this together for us, but I'd be interested to see if there's psychology behind that, if it's just the look of a corner square and like how much presence it has on a square board like this that really gets people drawn towards it. Because I remember feeling the same way, where I was like, corner squares and center square are the ones, and it took me a while to even grasp the fact that like diagonal is the same. Really, there is no difference. And if there's that psychology behind it, perhaps the diagonal squares that covered column 2s and column 2 and 4 and row 2 and 4, maybe there's a argument that they're stronger.
Yeah, I mean, because if there's a psychological advantage, but like that's something I've talked with Shura, right? And it, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Iron and Typin would maybe looking into that, because they're speedrunners, right? They look for every advantage they can get. And Yibe is going to need every bit of advantage here as he goes for this golden hippo, looking to take that down. That will be one of his wolf, lion, bear, hippo, but then that will also give him good access into the shadow keep. It sets him up nicely to potentially do Rakshasa, Mesmer, and you cannot do front to back skip on this. In bingo, front to back skip is banned. That's when you go from front side to back section. You cannot access Scattertree Avatar or Commander Gaius without doing a skip. And for continuity's sake, because it's
stagger.
Yeah, it's not allowed. But he does put himself in good position here and gets that first big kill and gets 2 extra Scadu.
100%. Yeah, I'm interested to see Yibe's weapon level. I feel like this should be doing more damage. This is usually quite a strong weapon, but
I think he's plus 18. I believe he is plus 18.
He's plus 18. Okay, that would make sense.
And I think logically that makes sense, right? Due to the fact that Typin is having, or Iron is having one of the best games we've seen from a base game player right now. He's going crazy, right? You feel pressure to help out your teammate, right? Maybe think like I just need to go and like make a more aggressive play rather than spending the extra time to set up to plus 24, plus 25.
Yeah, you just got to get something on the board here. Try and slow the bleeding. Start making a play of your own here. Give a little bit of support while you can. Thomas did or did not get that grace. Wait, I saw Thomas die there. Did he not get the grace?
I was not looking. I was watching Hippo.
Fair enough. Chat, can someone confirm? I saw him poured away there.
He did grab the grace.
Okay, fine. We're fine.
And you know what? Dude, Iron just has Thomas's number here today. This could be another snipe on Okina.
Looks like it. Iron's kind of running past Okina, though.
No, he's not. He ran past. You're confusing Okina and Bike.
Oh, Okina. Yeah. You're right. Sorry, my brain. Yeah. This is gotta be one of the most frustrating games Thomas has played in the season so far. We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
You go for an idea thinking this is the idea they're not gonna do. This is the idea because again, Latenna. Right there, center square. You've shown that you've got all this mountaintops progress.
Yeah, but a very nice
and
hippo.
You're gonna get sniped again anyway because Iron's probably thinking the same thing. He's probably on that next Yomi level of like, yeah, I could do Latenna right now, but it's probably going to be. I know I'm ahead, and it's probably going to be much more frustrating and much more likely to get this bingo that it looks like they are pushing, which is an all base game bingo line that Thomas might get entirely sniped on, by the way.
Well, he did prep Okina, right? And the other thing that they have going for them, right, is as we know, right, being players and commentators, right, and anyone who's watched a lot, right, the kind of the setup for the DLC, primary DLC player takes a lot longer than the base game player, right? So, Yibe has just been preparing and yet to make an actual impact on the board. He's looking to do that here now with Moonrathil, but he's in a great spot. And also, since Latenna is prepped, even if Okina is prepped, and Okina will be a snipe here most likely, but they get Latenna, right? Yibe's in good position for Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo, Mesmer. They can maybe force some pressure there on that diagonal. In this format, just to be very clear as a reminder, bingos do not win, but they are 2 bonus points, right? In which is very, very huge. And we got double NPCs up here as Iron going for Okina and Yibe is going for Moonrathil.
Ellie's smiling right now, having the best time of her life.
Yeah, Ellie and NPC, or not NPC. Oh my God, I called him NPC. Nike are somewhere smiling right now. And there goes Okina down for Iron.
Fast.
Yeah. Oof. We got Red Bear on the board here. This is Ralva. This is for the Wolf, Lion, Bear, Hippo, and also will give Typin a bunch of juice here. Normally, I would expect to see Hippo first, but I think Bear there's also an argument for bear, especially if that's what you're more comfortable with, right? And you get that extra juice for the hippo fight.
I also think it's just for a bum rush, right? So you kill Ralva, you take the rest of the lines straight into hippo. You don't go for as much setup. You just go for the bum rush. Is probably what's in mind here.
And the other thing too for Thomas here is, even though he did get sniped, he did lose Okina. Yes, he has the Grace set up to go Plassey later, right? So there's still auxiliary value there. And a lot of times we see in bingo, right? Iron might think that he has a lot of priority, meaning that he's well ahead on Plassey. Well, in reality, he actually Thomas is technically ahead, because I don't think that Iron grabbed Foot of the Forge Grace, which in this format you do not need to kill Fire Giant to get to Farum. You just need to grab that Foot of the Forge Grace. So I think that's Thomas is technically ahead here.
Oh, Harsh says he did grab it though.
Oh no, never mind. He did grab a Grace, so they're even. I'm stupid.
Yeah. So they will be dead even. Iron making the completely unsurprising play at this point of continuing to just ignore Latenna. I honestly think they want Thomas to do Latenna at this point, and they're just gonna go around and shut down the rest of the board in the meantime.
Yeah, because it's one of these things, right? When you have a lead, I understand, especially if you're watching it, you can just say like, yo, just like grab that square and they win, basically, right? Like, game's not over, but 8-2 is tough, right? Let's keep it a buck,
hard.
Right? However, on the other hand, right, like, they're up 3 squares on majority. They are currently in a very good position to just win a majority game with no bingos, just claiming 13 squares faster, right? So in the way that you lose those types of games when you are ahead is getting sniped, right? So yes, they could win the game. They could effectively win the game on the spot if they get Latenna, right? But they also could get sniped and end up in a much worse position where they are, at risk of losing. While they know Thomas has to go Latenna, let's just make the more conservative play, go somewhere else, i.e. Estelle, right? And claim another square on the board here.
And Estelle is incredibly nice here because it's 1 remembrance closer to getting into the DLC. And again, with those 3 combo squares on the board with Altus and DLC, not a bad idea to get your base game player to have some access to it.
Especially because I actually think if you go Estelle here as Typin or as Iron, after Estelle, go Volcano Manor. And then you could have, even if you don't get base in DLC first, you might lose like Oseek or Black Knife. You're definitely going to get Blade of Mercy, and you're definitely going to get Tannis Knight, right?
100%.
We will go full screen here with Iron, though. And also, I mean, this is tough, right? We'll see how, Typin has also played very well today here, but he has not quite been tested yet as much into this match. But Iron, playing one of the best games we've ever seen. There are some times in bingo where someone just plays so well and you go GG's, right? Obviously, in a 2v2 format, that's a lot easier to work around. It's more reasonable to work around than singles, for sure. Because in singles, if your opponent does this, it's like... Oh wow!
Yeah, if you're playing Iron in a singles game right now, I hate to say it, but you're done for. It's over.
But we'll see what we can do here. Typin is also fighting the hippo, so I'm actually going to keep it on the main screen here, as that's the best way to show both of these fights off. They really need. They do need. Realistically, Iron's probably not going to die here. He just has way too much juice for Estelle at this point, and he's too talented of a player. Hippo is still a very serious threat for Typin. I think if you are Expedition 25 or a fan of theirs, you never want to hope for a death, right? You always want to hope the players do well, but a death here would be really nice for Expedition 25. Allowing Yebe a little bit more time to just like clean up all of the DLC, because I think that's their way back. Is Yebe just needs to dominate the DLC as much as Iron is dominating the base game right now, and then Thomas cleans up a few other squares. Bada bing, bada boom, 13. There you go.
Yeah, Iron with yet another beautiful fight, killing Estelle, and then making a very, very smart play. One I love to see is going down for this tree spirit down here.
Yeah, and the other thing too with this lead, right, because we've already saw Typin go for Wolf Lion Bear Hippo, or sorry, he's going for Wolf Lion Bear Hippo, right? He kills the bear, and now he goes Hippo, right? Then he can just do one other bear boss, or a dancing lion or something, and then the last one is always Rune Bear and Weeping, right? And meanwhile, Yibe here is going for Mesmer, right? Because I will say, granted, we haven't seen it yet in an official, well, we saw it last weekend, right? But I think this French team, right, if they are at their most dangerous, I would imagine it is a situation where they can just speed run, right? Like when you're playing with a lead, it's much easier to just send the house and rush down individual squares rather than having to try to craft snipes and things of that nature. As vous avez Paris, as first death there for Team France as Iron goes down. But yeah, I mean, they can just speed run at this point. When you play with a lead, you can just go hard into your squares, right? Maybe not worry about the synergia, as Rambler taught us this morning, right? And just simply C square, get square, right? We're gonna finish up with Typin here on this Hippo. There, Thomas gets Lieutenant of the Apostate Derelict, marking that center square. But now everyone get ready for 18 inches of Mesmer.
Woo! Mesmer, one of the most fun fights to watch, to play in this game. Love to see it.
And I gotta say also, I'm sure you know about this because, our players are smarter than we are, but this tree spirit that Iron's going for in the Lake of Rot, right, I've never seen it before. I didn't even know there was one here, despite how many thousands of hours I have in this game. And obviously, the death is unfortunate, but really heads up, right? You get Estelle and synergy.
Yeah, it's a really good way to really take advantage. And again, probably yet another thing about thinking and playing like a speedrunner. You just know all these spots, you know so many things about the game that you're gonna be like, oh, you know what tiny advantage I can squeeze out of an already ridiculously strong square, and then just do something that like even half the chat is like, I didn't even remember this was here. I didn't even know this was here. This is the problem with Bagarre FR is. Now that they're online and they've really gotten comfortable with the format, this is the kind of stuff we have to deal with now.
Yeah. Like this team is, like I said, I knew that by the end of the season they would be good, right? And I felt like, seeing, we've seen, i.e. Sirius last season, right? We've seen really talented players from outside of Bingo come into Bingo, right? And more often than not, the story ends up going, man, if only we had a few more weeks, or man, if only, I won one or two extra games in the early season, because by the time the season ends, right, they improve at a rapid rate because they don't have the experience. We'll go back to Mesmer. Sorry, I don't know why I slipped the thing. That was just autopiloting. My apologies. But they don't have the experience. And then they pick it up by the end of the season. It's like, what could have been? With Iron and Typin, so far it's looking like they are not going to fall to that same fate, at least so far. A lot of Bingo left to play, not only in this game, but this season.
Yeah, but they're looking to change the narrative once and for all at this point, and they're starting to put on some good examples about why they're the ones to do it. Also, just want to talk about this. This is an incredibly frustrating style of gameplay that Iron and Typin have gone for here, but look at this. They have forced, which is weird to say, Expedition 25 into doing center square, and then have completely shut it down between Estelle and the 4 lion marks, or the 4 bosses Wolf Lion Hippo mark that just happened. That's it. The center square is officially worthless.
I think that Wolf Lion Bear Hippo was a fantastic call by them, and a fantastic play by Typin. I understand maybe it's not the best to get the most squares on the board as fast as possible, right? But it's just perfect complementary bingo, right? your teammate is going crazy right now, go ahead and support him. Let him carry out the bulk of, the actual square count while you just shut down the bingos, address the threats so that your teammate can just speed run. It is just perfect complementary play by this team.
And just such a beautiful job executing it too. It's really rare you get to see one of these games where everything falls together into a perfect place like this, where both the planning and execution just nearly perfectly complement each other. The only death we've seen really is this death by Iron to the honestly most annoying tree spirit in the entire game.
Yeah. And I also wonder too, I think this is something that I just wonder, because I do like the psychology of bingo and I love the storyline, right? I'm a huge sports guy, right? When I was a kid, my dream was always to be like a general manager for a sports team, right? And I'm just a sports guy. So I'm kind of curious about like what their attitude was coming into the season, right? Because obviously these guys are so talented, and to be fair to them, and also like a lot of the players in Ignite and stuff, I know, like, we all know how good these players are, right, in Ignite, right? Obviously Iron and Typin are now a member of the community, but coming in this season they were not, right? We all know how good we are, but people don't have crazy speedrun times, right? People don't, or these types of things. We mainly compete in head-to-head formats, rando racing, bingo, etc., right? I wonder if maybe there was a little bit of like underestimation, right? Thinking like, we're, in terms of what you can easily find, like way more credentialed, right? Like, we should just come in here and win this thing, right? Obviously week 1, week 2, they get punched in the mouth. Maybe, they have been practicing more, right? Maybe it's like, oh shit, like we know we can win this thing, but maybe not as easy as we expected, or just maybe it took them time to develop into bingo. I'd be curious to see what they would say, because I would totally understand it from their perspective if they were like, these Ignite guys, they aren't very good, right? Because like, there's not, some of us did DRL, but no one really took it seriously, right? Like, none of us are speedrunners, right? There's not, outside of our own community, objective metrics to say like, these people are very good.
100%. Yeah, we don't have those like previous sort of things that are on display for everyone. But at the end of the day, we are all here sitting. We are in a different way, of course, but we are all sitting here no-lifing this game, same as them. And I think maybe that's the case, that they just were like, it'll be just like whatever, these guys don't have all this
also
stuff.
That might be a little bit of my fault, because I'm not gonna lie, we had those preseason tournaments, right? And they made it to the finals in one of them, right? But if I'm being very honest, right, those are preseason tournaments. We just wanted to make good matchups, right? So I didn't put them against the most experienced players, right, in their first couple games, and we do have 2 big fights here on the screen in this game, though, as Typin is going for the Chief Blood Fiend and Thomas is going for the Blackblade Kindred. And I do want to say, obviously Bagarre FR is going crazy, right? They're doing really well, but Thomas and Yebe are just hanging around, right? They're staying within that 2 to 3 square gap. If the snipe or 2 does come at any point, bingo turns fast, right? So still a lot of game left to be played. Iron does get the tree spirits down there.
Yeah, and we've been talking a lot about Bagarre FR, because obviously their performance has been very impressive right now. But it is important that you point that out, because
ooh, that's very unfortunate, because that's the one problem. That's the other problem Thomas is running into, right? It's kind of similar to what happened, for you yesterday, right? You actually same square, Magworm and Theodorix, right? You and Iron both went very aggressive, right? Not only do you have that square on the board, but also you got that first big kill, and now you have a lot more, room to play, right? You can afford to make mistakes, which not only helps you out in terms of just confidence, right? But this is something that I preach, in the Church of Hoosier. Vigor is a damage stat, right? And
100%.
And you're allowed to, trade a little bit more and be more aggressive.
Yeah, which means faster fights. Let's be real here. Bingo is different than like a speed run because you're not on some planned route. You're not doing the same thing every time. There's a bajillion different like Elden Ring muscles, I'll call them, that you're working out. You are not going to play perfectly in bingo the same way you would in like a speed run. So that vigor stat is more like not only the damage stat, not only the tank stat, but it's the I can afford to make a mistake or two in this game where I'm required to make split-second decisions. I'm constantly thinking about the board, even in the middle of fights, and I'm forced to do anything on a moment's notice.
Yeah.
You gotta have that room for mistakes. There are these rare games where you play very, very, very cleanly, but the reality of bingo is you have to prepare to play a little worse than you would like to at your max.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like bingo's so difficult because I've seen in the past there are a lot of amazing Elden Ring players, and we don't need to name names, and I don't really want to take away from any of those players, but not everyone translates to bingo, right? Like just because you're an amazing Elden Ring player, like the amount of stuff that's going on at the same time in bingo, because you are trying to play a very difficult game at a ridiculously high level while also playing a complex strategy game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's quite difficult to do. And most times it's like you play chess and that's just strategy, right? Unless you misclick on, playing online, there's no real mechanical skill in chess, right? Or you play, a more mechanically skilled game, but this really is a mix mash of skill and strategy.
And speaking of
speed,
strategy,
chess is
Iron
mechanical, Helios. I agree with you. I know.
Iron and Typin have decided to turn into some real scumbags and sneak this column 2 before I even noticed it was happening. This is the sneaky caves mark to steal it away from Thomas.
And
because
before
you're thinking,
know
why
it,
the heck would Typin be there?
This
and
is
now Plassey, and that's gonna be it.
This is Plassey for the win. Not only for the win, but by far the fastest win of the season in official games. I don't know if I've ever seen. I don't see many practice games that are mismatches go under 50 minutes, right?
No.
And again, like Thomas and Yebe are 2-2. They are a very talented team, right? Last weekend, a statement win in that it was a bigger scalp, right? Obviously giving the first loss to the 4-0 team time complexity, right? But this is just a different level of dominance.
Yeah, I have not seen oppressive bingo play like this all season long. There have been some games that have been like shutdowns or whatever, but there's usually a little element of, I'd say, like skissuing or something like that involved on the other side. This just feels like Iron and Typin came to play the world's best game of bingo, and you're just gonna kind of have to deal with that.
Yeah, because I mean, the average game in Golden Order, I don't know the exact stat. I would say is what, I'm thinking record. Is the average game's probably about what? A little over an hour, you would say?
A little over.
What do you mean 4-2 yesterday?
And this is gonna be it.
Cyan Shura didn't play yesterday. There it is, though.
Wow.
Bingo win. Wow.
What?
Like, I genuinely, very rarely am I shocked, right? It's been a long time since I've been doing bingo commentary for almost 2 years at this point, right? Early on, as the game was developing, there were times where I was left speechless because, we'd never seen it before especially outside of like bingo brawlers, right? They play at a really high level. When I first saw Helios and Alex play back in season 1, when I first saw Shura play in season 2, right? I was like, yo, Like, I've never seen this before. This is next level. And I've seen some crazy things because we have some crazy players, but I have never seen this.
No, this is far and away like the most impressive game of bingo I think I've seen a team play ever in this format. I can't think of one that's even close.
I mean, I think in this format is not even giving enough credit. Like, I think what's in doubles, right? Any league, anywhere, I've never seen this level of dominance in a 2v2. Never.
Yeah. What a wild game.
Like, legitimately, I think the best team game ever. Let's go ahead and bring the guys in. Well, you're gonna have to, buddy. I have bad news for you.
I know. I'm scared.
Right, let's go ahead and bring everyone in.
No.
Cheese, boys. Cheese. I'm not sure if you were watching, what I said before I brought you in, but first off, I want to say, Thomas and Yebe, I feel for you guys a little bit because that was
what the fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I said.
What the fuck did you guys eat for breakfast? What in?
I mean, I said. I told the viewers right before this, right? I've been watching bingo for as long as it, like, I was a bingo fan. I was watching Domo and Chris and Aggie play bingo back when it was vanilla and Fire Giant was a square, before the idea of bingo brawlers was even a thing, right? I've seen so many forms of bingo. This is the best 2v2 game I have ever seen a team play. Period. How are you guys feeling?
Great. Yeah. I mean, you're not forced to give us a death poker. You can give us other weapons.
Even they know who's. Come on.
Dude, the god of this game, our Lord and Savior, the great Bernie Bingo, right? Like, he clearly loves you guys, because I can promise you I don't rig the seeds. Literally, I didn't even
Who's checking every seed for a death poker? I know he is.
I didn't even have the most updated version of Athena to even actually check what the seed was until like a week ago. I was just using the old version to run seeds. I mean, wow, what a performance.
Yeah, but I just think like Magma Worm Theodorix and Dragonheart bosses on the same line is just unfair.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's just unfair, and I don't know if people know of that, but there is a tree spirit near Astel. That's.
I did not. Some of the people who are smarter than me did. But yeah, I was not aware.
There's a stone there of some kind.
Because Iron, we were talking about like, could he do Makar in under 15 minutes? Right, that was like our,
Magma Theo, yeah.
Magma Theo, right, in 15 minutes. Like, that was like the very fast, blah blah blah, right? And you did it in 12:38, and that was kind of a late mark, right? Because you warped and couldn't mark.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mark it, so yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's no big deal, right? I'm just saying for time wise, right? Like, that's not, you were 10 seconds, like 5-10 seconds faster, because Thomas was going for Dragon Hearts without Theo. He did Makar and then went Kaled, and you beat him to it. Like, Thomas did end up dying to Smaragd, but it wouldn't have mattered. You were well ahead.
No. I think I liked what I did. I actually, I was beating myself up in the middle of this game. I realized I made one mistake that actually kind of lost the game. I didn't upgrade before going Makar, so I got I got the Somber 1 and 2 at EG, but I didn't actually upgrade. So my fight was so fucking slow that I was like, oh shit, okay, well I can go upgrade now, and then I'm expecting like the Theo mark at like 13. because we had a practice game versus you. Dragon Hunter's Great Katana, fucking like gotta be one of the good ones for Theo. 13-minute mark, really quick. All right, fucking great. I've got time. I can do the Kaled. I can do the Kaled one, and then I can finish Dragon Hearts, kill that line because that line is fucking disgusting. Kill that line, and then most likely I still get tunnels, right? So even though you're more juiced than I am with like Theo runes, my idea is that I get those 2 squares instead of just the 1. But I'm in the fucking Kaled tunnel fight, and I see the mark, and like I'm just like, what the fuck? Like that should not be allowed. How fast that mark was. That was insane.
Yeah, +2 death poker on Maka. Like since you do so many so many damage, so many ticks of damage with the weapon arts, the +2 like impacts
such
the
a big
fight
difference.
so
It's
much.
such a big difference. Yep.
Yeah.
And I bought the Somber 1 and 2. I just forgot to go to the fucking strength and armament page and do that. And then that was legit probably my one mistake this game. And then maybe pushing Blue Retta was a bit stupid, but yeah, that was probably my one mistake.
I was expecting either Loreda or Okina to be taken. I considered like grabbing the Grace before Loreda and then going for Tunnel Dungeons, but since you marked it, I just sent it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And I hope you guys can stick around because I need to kill. The game was fast. We're gonna kill a little bit of time, and I do have a few questions here for Iron and Typin especially. For you guys, right? Like obviously you come into the season 0-2, right? Like you're learning bingo. Like it is you are true rookies, right? You've never played bingo before. Obviously you have a ton of competitive experience, right? And then last week you get that big win. You take down 4-0 top of the league, Sci-Fi and Shura, right? And then this weekend you have one of the most dominant displays ever, right? Was it a situation where that win last week just gave you a lot more confidence, right? Or what is it, right? Like, is this the new norm that we can expect from you guys? Does Wander need to be as scared as he is right now?
I'm a little spooked.
We actually have played bingo before, but like in the base game, totally base game. Early game. A lot of early game, but yeah.
In a league or just like in practice?
No. Just like fun
just
games.
between us.
Okay. Because I try to stay up to date with all the leagues because I know there's obviously ourselves, Bingo Club, Bingo Brawlers. In the past, there was Maidenless Bingo, but that league hasn't been around for a while. There's a German league, a Russian league. So I try to keep on track with all the leagues. So I was like, wait, is there a French league I don't know about?
I mean, on this board, especially, like, for me, personally, I did run a while ago, but I ran the All Remembrances Glitchless speedrun category, and, like, this board is it's only squares that I know really, really, really well. Like, I practice Theodorix and Magma Worm a lot. Astel, I know this fight very well. Same for Placidus Axe. Yeah, it was just things that I'm really used to do. So I think it was just a lot of things put together, like Death Poker and just squares that I'm really used to do. Yeah, and
then one final question from me, and you can choose to be as political as you want to be with this question. Or not, right? We're all among friends, right? But look, I know obviously you guys, when you look at like objective credentials and especially stuff that's easy to see, right? Like any percent glitchless leaderboard, GRL standings, which is a very high profile public league, right? You guys were amazing, right? And especially a lot of the players in Ignite, right? If you're not around kind of our scene, which has been small but it's growing, right? You wouldn't know like how good some of the players are around here, right? Yeah. At all, did you in any way maybe underestimate it a bit coming in, and then after week 1, week 2, really kick it into high gear? Or were you just, learning the game in terms of the game of bingo?
I'd say it's more of getting used to the format, like to the 2v2 format, because we have played like 1v1 games before of bingo, but 2v2 is not so much. And well, with all the the graces that are unlocked as you progress, I think it's really a matter of that. I don't think we underestimated it. Just we
personally I did. I think I did because I didn't know any of the names, and because I didn't know the names, I was like, oh yeah. It's not blanks like it's
Yeah.
not Catalyst or but yeah, every player are so good, and I did add to practice a lot just to get up to the levels of the competition.
Yeah, because
you guys are so good.
And I understand that from your perspective completely, right? Because especially if you do look at leaderboards, like some of our guys have run like any percent glitches or whatever in the past, but like that was before they got into the competitive scene, right? And like, their times are very old, right? And not representative. Or, I know like Helios and Shura did DRL last season, but they kind of just like did it for fun and, weren't taking it as seriously, right? So yeah, I would probably do the same thing if I was in your boat, I'll be honest, right? So I was just curious because, the last 2 weeks you guys have just been it's night and day how amazing you guys are compared to the first 2 weeks. And congratulations to both of you.
Thanks for that.
Thanks.
And for Thomas and Yebe, first off, I want to say I apologize for the seed for giving them.
You don't mean it.
I apologize. I apologize for giving Iron Harry Potter's wand, and clearly they ate their Wheaties this morning, and I don't know, maybe you ran into a demon today, right? So this is one of those games where it just is what it is.
Banished Night Grades, sure. I had fun with my Banished Night Grades.
Yeah. Because obviously, right, like you guys have proven it at this point, you're an amazing team, right? Just sometimes in bingo you run into its Steam engine because you played well. Like there were really no major mistakes or whatever. It was like, oh, you incidented here and that caused that to happen. Just an amazing game for Iron Typing. But any thoughts from you guys after this game and going into next week? And hey, now the bad man is gone. You don't have to fight the bad man anymore.
Well, next week I think it's tomorrow our next game.
Yeah, we
tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow.
Did you do patches as a cave and a friendly NPC?
No.
Okay. I thought so when I was going because I was in my third cave when that got marked and I wasn't
no,
sure.
but I did Chief Bloodfiend and the bear in
weeping. You had Rune Bear. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, wait, that's
with the wolf
okay,
lion
okay.
bosses.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Yeah, like I said, I fucking all credit to these guys. Holy shit, they played like actually insane. The one mistake I made was not upgrading at Makar. If I had done that, I liked my play of going Dragon Hearts through the Kaled tunnel, and kind of securing both of those squares. It's obviously like a 50-50 of which one he goes for and which one I go for. But I would have secured Dragonheart bosses if I was a lot faster, because it got marked as I was finishing the Magma Worm fight.
Yeah.
But like, genuinely, that was like the only mistake I played, and we got fucking 13-4 blown off the board. Like, yeah. I'm actually just speechless. Like,
I think I made a little goof going for Mesmer first instead of Bearlion Hippo, but
yeah,
that's kind of a
I was
50-50
surprised when you marked that. I didn't understand why, because Mesmer was not an important square. Because you already had Tunnel or Precipice.
It was when Bearlion Hippo gets marked. Without Bearlion Hippo, right? I have a Hippo dead, so I do Mesmer and then go Bearlion Hippo.
I think I can
I think I should have just done Bearlion Hippo first, after getting like a Grace closer to Mesmer.
Yeah.
Like the Grace beforehand skip.
that probably would have been better, but I also can't blame you, right? Because at that point in the game, you know, we know at this point, right? Like the base game player gets more active on the board before the DLC player does, right? And obviously Iron's going crazy, right? So you're kind of in a spot where like you need to, you know, orchestrate a snipe and really try to get both those squares. You know, so it's you gotta put it's a 50. It's a very tough spot, right?
I was also getting bullied by the Fire Knights running through Storehouse, by the way.
Well,
Like, I was fine, I didn't die or anything, but the guy from before the lift, like, you know, the first lift after Hippo, he came onto the lift and he was like fighting me on the lift.
Well, GG's, boys. It was a great game, a pleasure to call and commentate. And actually, we will see both of you guys again tomorrow as we have a big weekend of bingo. Obviously, Iron and Typin, I think you guys have now, you got the target on your back now. Maybe, you know, especially more so than you did coming into week 3, right? And now you have kind of a reversal of the situation that you had when you played Sci-Fi Insurer, where you guys were, you know, the underdogs looking to get that first win on the board. Sci-Fi Insurer, the hunted, or the hunter, or the hunted, or whatever you want to call them, right? And reversal of that, because now Jay and Rambler looking to get their first win and, you know, turn their season around, beating you guys. Best of luck to you in your game tomorrow. And best of luck to Thomas and Yibe as well, going up against the Crash in Sirius. This is the new Sirius. He's taking it serious and actually doing practice games. You know, Sirius last season, I will say, right? Like last season, he had a rough start and then turned it on late and almost made playoffs, right? He's going to be looking to him and Vikrash are going to be looking to do the same thing again tomorrow against Thomas and Yibe. So best of luck to both you guys in your games tomorrow. Thank you so much for playing and appreciate the hell out of you. And also, this is the first game of 4. We have a ton of exciting bingo action. We're going to take a short break to get set for the next match, and then we will be underway. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate the hell out of everyone. Community would not be what it is without all of you. Commentators like Wander and players, coaches, viewers, right? Every single one of you makes the experience what it is. So thank you so much for being a part of this community, and we will be right back.